everyone, and I'm live again. Welcome to my day 6 Go Live journey. And this is good evening from Singapore. Good morning, good afternoon too, depending wherever you are, from which part of the world. So thank you for tuning in and watching the replay. So if you're watching me for the first time, thank you again. And my name is Jen. I'm from Singapore. And I'm a working mother with 2 teenagers, and I'm also a digital business owner. So as shared last week, I'll be inviting you to meet some of my global business partners so you can hear from them, real people and their real stories. And today, I'm extremely excited to introduce to you my lovely business partner, Dal. Hello, Dal.
Hello, Jen. How are
And
you? Hello,
hi, thank
everyone.
you. Yeah. And maybe I just give a very brief introduction about Dal. Dal is actually a mother, a wife, a mother to 2 lovely kids. She's also a nurse and, of course, a digital business owner. Originally from Nepal, Dal now lives in Brisbane, Australia, with her families. Yeah, and she has been a nurse for more than 15 years. And thanks to this online business,
Yes.
now Dal works as a part-time nurse while she runs her online business alongside. Yeah. So maybe with that, I just like to introduce and give it over to Dal. Maybe Dal, you can share with us a little bit more about yourself.
Um, Thank you, Jen, for inviting me. And it's really an honor to be here with you today and to know, that's why it's so global. And we have diverse community that we come from each and every corner of the world. And we meet virtually, even though we haven't met personally. We make that connections. And it is really amazing. And you make friends all around, all around the world. You share same goals, you share same interest. And, you can talk about things that you can never get bored with. So thank you for having me. It's
Yes,
really amazing to be here on
right.
your page, and I like to say hello to all your fans and your followers on your page as well. So as Jen has already said, there's not much to me. That's basically what it is. My name is Dal. I am originally from Nepal, so I moved to Australia 15 years ago to study. I came in as a student nurse and struggled, as an immigrant, as an international student, you do struggle a lot for years. And for, in terms of covering your living expenses and all these bits and pieces. And after graduating, finding jobs, and because it's not easy. Right. But I'm really
Yes,
lucky that I could stay here, and I met my husband, started a family, got a good job, a good career. And it was like dream come true for me, coming from a small
yes,
country, Nepal, where we dream big, to coming to big countries and live our dream life and all this thing. And that was my dream come true, but that was
yeah,
short lived. Really short lived. But anyway, we can talk about that a bit later. But I'm a nurse now, and I work in a really good healthcare facility. And yes, I've been working as a nurse for more than 15 years, basically all my life, and that's all
yes,
I knew how to do. And but I'm really glad that I can do something else as well apart from nursing. And I
yes.
got into the business, and I'm really loving it. At the same time, 2 years in the business, and still enjoying. I'm still here and still achieving success, and achieving my dreams one at a time.
Right. So I mean, you like you were sharing, you have been in Australia for almost 15 years, and right before you joined this online business, could you just share with us a little bit more? What were your pains and struggles? I mean, you had to
Definitely.
go through.
Like I said, it felt like dream come true when I, first graduated and got a job. It took me a year to find like that actual job after my graduation, which was, I still remember carrying my resume, bag full of resume, and then dropping in every healthcare facility and working in the heat, dropping off to find the job. That struggle I can never forget, and finally I got the job, and I was over the moon. I had great loving husband, and it was great. But as we started our family, it started to go downhill because everything started to come, and the reality hit us. And being an international and not having your family member to look after your kids was the biggest struggle for me. And
Mm,
despite of not wanting to go back to the workforce, we had no choice. In Australia, expenses was growing, and there was no way we could survive in or just one person's earning and me staying home. So we had to both go back to work like a full time after I had my daughter. And she was 10 months old when I had to leave her at daycare to so I can go back to work, right? And I still remember it was like we had that separation anxiety. I didn't wanted that, being a first, like mom to your first child. You wanted to be there for your
yes,
kids all the time, which wasn't
yes.
possible for me. And I
Mm,
regretted every moment. Like, when she was a late starter, so she wasn't even crawling when she started daycare. So she started crawling at daycare. She took her first step at daycare. She started talking at daycare. And I basically go into, the educator, the, nanny used to send me a picture and videos of her doing it. And I basically locked myself in the toilet and cried because I wanted to be there and witnessing those first moments with my kids and with my child. And that wasn't what was happening. So those missed moments has basically prompted me, and I said, like, okay, this is it, I need to find something. And my search for something to do from home started in 2011. And I tried
okay.
various things online. I started looking for work from home mums and started doing surveys. That basically gave me nothing. It was just wasted time, or talking on the
Mm,
phone for hours with no
right.
results and all these bits and pieces. And when I had my son, I went back to workforce, obviously, because we had no choice, right? And I didn't found the business at that time. So I went back permanent night shift because there was no way I could cover daycare bill for both kids, two kids. So I started doing night shift for 5 years. I did night shift. I hated it, but I had no choice. I still did it. And some days I didn't know how I got to work. Some days I didn't know how I get home. I saw my kids crying every time I left to go to work, every night. And that was something that triggered me. This is it. Enough is enough. I do not want this. So those were the things that basically prompted me to look more actively to find that exit plan for myself, because I realized that doing that would get me nowhere.
Right. Wow,
Yeah.
this is I mean in Singapore that's quite similar because
Yeah.
cost of living is high. We typically need the dual income
Mm.
as well, right? So and daycare
Yep.
is also expensive. So I could totally relate to how you were feeling and how the kids, were either tugging our feet or crying and playing. I've gone through that
Yeah.
as well, so I could feel how it
Yes.
is like. Yeah,
I
so
know.
so like you were saying, that actually triggered you to really look into something
Yep.
um, deeper, right? So maybe could you share, how then do you find this business? Because originally I want to ask you why, but I guess your why is really,
Yeah.
you tell yourself that that's the point, that triggers you to find
That's
an
it.
online
Yeah.
business, right? I mean, to
Yep.
find something else. But
Yes.
why this business, and how do you decide?
Um, like I said, I was in that desperate mode where I had enough of doing same thing over and over again and achieving nothing at the end of the day. Even though no matter how hard we were working, my husband was working full time. I was working night shift after night shift, and sometimes we were, picking up extra shifts. Sometimes we are doing overtime.
Yeah.
And family time was nowhere in that, in our
Yes.
family. There was no happy family that my husband and I
There's
was
no such
becoming
equation.
stranger. No,
Okay.
and my husband and I was becoming stranger because I hit home, he goes to work. He came home, I go to work. So we hardly see each other. We used to text each other to see how they are, or have you had lunch. That was not the way we wanted to live, right? So
Yes.
so many things that we had, and especially more like time. And plus, no matter what we do, we were still struggling at the end of the month to pay those bills, to pay those expenses. And we were compromising so many things, our dreams, our needs, our desires, to fit our budget. And so we can save later for our kids future, right?
Yeah.
And we could see that was leading us nowhere, and we were thinking like, okay, this is how we're going to go, then we won't be there won't be enough for our retirement or our kids future, that sort of thing. It was like, and I started googling about work from home online because I wanted to stay home. And
Yeah.
I heard these things on the radio when I was going to work, like, oh, work online. And I was like, oh, so there is something like that as well. Like you can
Okay.
work online, right? And I wasn't an online person. I hardly went to Facebook to see anything. I had the account, but I never went in Facebook. So I heard that on radio on my way to work. And I was like, okay, I gotta go and find this. So I started Googling whatever the website they gave me. And once I came across that, my newsfeed started to flood with all the opportunities, right? You know
Oh,
how they
wow.
link,
Yes.
they
Okay.
link
Yes,
somehow
yes,
link
yes.
to your Facebook and the
Right,
Google
right,
what you're watching.
right.
And I newsfeed, and I saw my mentor's ad. She was a nurse. She was staying home with her son. And I was like, that is exactly what I need. I thought of nothing else. She's a nurse, and now she's doing a business. She has quit the job. That's it. That's what I want, right? I want to stay home with my
Yes.
kids. Quitting my job
Bingo.
was not the priority. Yeah, that's it. That hit me, that message, like, how did she do it? That's what I wanted to know, how she
Mm,
did it, right? So I went in, and then I started messaging her like, okay, I'm really interested. How do I do it? And that's when my journey sort of started. That was the first step to my online journey. And then I looked into a webinar. She invited me to watch the webinar, which was free. I watched it. I still remember my son was only um, 2.5 at that time, and he was full on, very active child. And I was watching while he was asleep. I watched the webinar, and I didn't believe it at first. Believe me, I did not believe, because everything that I needed was there. Everything that I
yes.
looked for
Yeah.
was there. And when
Yeah.
you find something that you are looking for, it's hard to believe, right? So I thought it's too
Yes.
good to be true.
Too good to be
And
true.
I was, yeah, it was so too good to be true. And I was like, no, I didn't believe it at the beginning. So I watched a couple more times, but and then I just made my mind, yeah, this is what it is. Because all the stories, the people that they were achieving success, and I was like, if they can, why can't I? Was
Yeah.
the first thing that hit me. And I was like, okay, if I don't try it, I can never know where this will take me. And
Yeah.
worst thing worse, it'll be a scam. Worst thing worse, I will lose my money. That's all right. It doesn't matter, but at least I don't have regrets, and I will feel like I tried something, you know. So that's why I jumped in,
Yeah.
and I
And
really,
you,
but
and
I
here you
believed
are.
in it. Yeah, and
Here
here I
you
am.
are. Such a
I know.
successful lady.
Yeah, still 2 years and I'm still here. So definitely it is worth it.
Right, right.
Yes.
So what is during these 2 years, what is your biggest result or change, ever since you have embarked on this online business?
This is so much, so much. Like I said, I started
There's
very
so many.
skeptical, very doubtful, yes, and very fearful coming into the business because I didn't know what I was getting into. And when you come into unknown, like you've got no idea, then you have that scary feeling, that fearful feeling that you don't know. But once coming into, and when you're welcomed like one of their own, when you're welcomed like their own family, then you will feel that familiarness, you feel that you belong there already. That was the environment that I came into, and I really loved it. And continuous support from everyone else around me was the most
Yes.
amazing thing that that led me where I am today. If I didn't had the support, maybe, you know so maybe I would have quit. Because when you're doing something new, when you don't have the support of people, when you don't have those guidance, when you or
Yeah.
someone to lead your way, then it gets harder. And the easiest thing that you do when it gets hard is to quit, right?
Yes.
And 2 years I'm still here because I got the support. And this is the best thing about the business, that you do get the support wherever, like everywhere, from all around the world, and continuous training and updates. So I found a friend and family that was the biggest achievement. I met so many beautiful people, so many beautiful souls I'm friend with. I'm really close with them, and I met them in person now, and we have made the connections, and now we are like a family. So
Yes.
sorry.
It's okay. It's
As
okay.
a
That's
visitor.
real.
That's my 6-year-old. Do you want to
Hi.
say hi? Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is I learned lots of new things. I had no idea about Facebook. I had no idea about technology, but here I am. I'm doing I'm doing, I'm on social media. I'm using leveraging all the platforms and internet and Facebook in order to run my business, and I'm successful today. Give me a second. Sorry. Apologies. Sorry.
It's okay.
This is what happens when you
This
have
is
kids
what
at
we work
home.
from. Yeah, that's what we work from home. Is
No,
real, and they
that's right.
love. I mean, that's what kids want, right? They want mommy's
Yeah.
time. They want our attention, and this is
Yeah.
what this business can offer, right?
I know.
That's what they want, and
This is
nothing.
what, and you treasure those moments because
Yeah.
your kids, they grow so quickly, and
Yes.
and before you know it, and they don't really come to you, do they?
Right. Yes. And
They run away from you.
we don't want to live in that moment where one day we look back and say, "Hey, time has fly so
Yes,
fast that we don't even know
that's
so many things about our children, and that's really too late." So this
that is
is
right.
something
That is,
amazing, right? That's allow
yeah,
you to be with them while you're still at home doing
yeah.
this.
Really true. That's right. And exactly that, I feel like, oh, I should have found this sooner. Like, I still feel like I should have found this sooner. So I could have been so far by now, and I could have not missed so much things. But
I
sooner than later, right? So
Yes,
um, I'm here, and I'm already ripping out success, and all the achievements and the results that I'm getting. It's not only financially. Financially, yes, I have replaced my nursing salary. To be honest, in less than 2 years, which only is possible because of the business, right?
yes,
And if I had just done my nursing, and it has given me that security, it has given me that what do you call it, confidence to actually cut down my hours for nursing, right? So I can still do the job that I really love. I love nursing. I have worked hard to earn that graduate degree for
yes,
nursing, and I do not want to lose it because I'm really passionate about helping people, and sharing my skills to help those people who are in need. So I'm really grateful that I found this, because I was at that point where I feel like I can't do this anymore, and this is not for me. That
right,
job that I really loved. But now I'm falling in love with it again. I'm loving my
yes,
work again, because I go to work because I want to. It's not because I have to. You know what I mean?
right,
So there's
yes,
difference
yes,
between,
right,
when you feel like you have to go, then it's like someone's sort of forcing you, and you are like, you got
exactly,
no choice, you have to do it, and it feels like a drag. But when you want to go, because it's your choice, you love it and you enjoy it. So it's so much difference waking
yeah,
up in the morning to go to work, into the alarm clock and everything. So even that alarm clock goes off, and I was like, this is temporary. I've only got a couple of days, and I'll have days of I'll be at home. That sort of
yes,
thing. Like, it's not like, oh, I have to work
right.
for 5 more days. I don't do that anymore. So
Because
I
the
was able to
intention
cut
is
down.
different, right? The intention is different compared to previously. It's like
Yeah,
they call it the compassion fatigue because you are
it
already doing so much and you're so fatigued and you don't
I
want
know.
to do something that you used to love so much, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And it feels like, oh, same thing over and over again, over and over again. And you feel it gets, your life gets really like, it goes in a circle, and you seems like there's nothing different happening in your life. And it's the same thing. If you keep eating sugar, the sugar will taste bitter. It's the same thing. Like, if you keep doing same thing over and over again, you'll basically um get over it. So I love my job, and this business has given me not only a financial support, not only the time for my family, but it has actually helped me grow as a person as well, and gain that confidence, and proud to be a business owner as well. Because before, I used to be really shy and just really worried about what people will say about me, right? Or they will think I'm crazy. But now I don't care anymore. I feel like, okay, if someone doesn't like me, that's their business. It's it's nothing for me to worry about, right? So I am who I am, and that's
Yes.
exactly it has taught me to do. Like, you are good enough, and you are enough. You know, you are no less or no more. So that's
You love
lots of.
yourself.
Yes, you self love, and it has also taught me that, sometimes thinking about yourself is not selfish, not being selfish sometimes, because if you are healthy, if you are well, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, then only your family will flourish.
Yes.
It's not for you, it's for your family at the same time too. Be in that good state of mind, which I'm really glad about. And yes,
Yes. Yes.
um, I'm happy that I took that step. That has given me so much more than I have expected. I came for a couple of $100, and it has given me more than what I have asked for.
Wow, this is amazing. I feel so inspired by your sharing, and I really hope that our audiences who are, hearing us, who are also looking for a change or feeling stuck somewhere, or feeling that there's no solution, it's not true, right? Because there is
Yeah.
always a solution.
Oh,
It's
yes,
just
there
that we
is.
need to take the leap of faith to try out something new. Yeah, so I think this is probably a present that we are
Yes.
presenting. So it's up to you whether you want to open up to find out what's inside the box.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And there is
So it's
always a reason why we're popping up on the screen, because
yes,
there's always
right.
there's my mentor ad didn't pop up just because that was meant to be, and that was calling me for that life
Right.
changing event of my life, which I decided to go ahead with. Yes.
This is amazing. And I really want to thank you for all your lovely sharing, Dal. I think we can go on for an hour. You just carry on.
Yes.
I think, because it's so many lovely and amazing things that we have gone through that we love to share. But I think for some of you watching out there would like to connect with us, please feel free to connect with us. So maybe before I end the session today, once again, I thank Dao and everybody who's watching. And tomorrow is my day 7, and I have another business partner um, tomorrow with my interview. So I really hope to see you tomorrow, Tuesday, 28th September at the same time, 5 p.m. In the meantime, I also like to invite you to um, like, follow, or share my page or comment if you have any questions or like to know more information. Yeah, with that, I thank everybody and have a good day ahead or good night, good evening. Thank you, Dao, and
Thank
thank you
you,
so
Jen,
much,
for having
everybody.
me.
Yeah,
It's a pleasure.
yeah,
Bye.
it's an honor to have you.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Same.